All right, this is the final, I think the final attempt. Let me just make sure that it's working. Are you serious? What is going on? Audio input. That's it. Uh, hello? Oh my God, I don't know what happened. I don't know what went wrong. I don't remember how I fixed it. Stream, auto, output, fine. Flex out of this? Ay, ay, ay. The one day I'm solo and everything is totally messed up. And I don't know why. This is so frustrating. Okay. What the hell, man? Audio, properties, headset microphone. Okay. Why is this not working? Oh, I'm gonna open up my own Twitch account and see if I can hear it through my headphones and it's just my phone. I doubt it. I doubt that's the case. That'd be really weird. No, I don't want that. Oh God, I'm like showing this is like so inside baseball all of a sudden. Can anyone hear me? Unmute. Okay. I can I can what the so why is it not working on my phone? That's so bizarre. Okay, that's so that stream is working. But what about this one? Oh my gosh, okay, that's weird. All right, we're back. All right. What a weird okay, what a weird start. Let me just I won't even trim that. I don't even know. I'll probably have to trim that, but whatever. What are we like? How far into the stream are we even? Like 2 minutes? 2:25, 2 minutes? All right. So that's weird. Oh, Andrew's here.
Howdy.
I don't hold on. Let me make sure I can hear you because I've just spent the last 5 minutes with audio issues.
Oh boy.
So I've just been rambling to myself trying to get this to work.
We love a good self ramble.
Okay, now I can't hear myself again. I think it's my phone though, to be honest with you. Can you open up my stream and see if you can hear
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
I don't know. See, it's like my phone. It's weird. My phone's being really weird. Give me a hello.
Hello, hello.
Okay, I can hear you. Lovely. Um, let me check the timestamp on this and write it down. All right, 3:30. That is where we're gonna cut off. That's where I'm gonna have to trim the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds off of the stream. Easy enough to remember. I'll just type it in chat. All
I
right.
did confirm on Twitch that I could hear you.
Okay, perfect. We're good. We're going. It's me and Andrew. As I didn't say this because it's gonna get cut from the YouTube. Dave, my one of our other normal companions, has taken up art classes on Wednesday nights. He can no longer make it. He's still providing the thumbnails, and we appreciate that very much. And in his honor, I'm going to have in every episode he isn't here a brief moment of silence, and that'll begin right now. All right, I think that's what he would have wanted. So, um,
Question. Does this mean we can expect to see upgraded thumbnails?
maybe he's already pretty good. So you'll have to bring it up with him.
I
So
want to see what he can we present his see if you should present what he makes in art class to stream.
that would be a good one. That would be a good. I think that'd be a good off-season episode.
Agreed.
But we are still in the midst of the real season. We are in week
Heyo.
17 and a half. It is the Baku review. There's no race this coming weekend, so there's no race to preview. It's all about Baku, and boy should it be, because what a time. The longest qualifying of the year, and the longest and qualifying was the longest session of the year. It was 2 hours long, which was longer than any race that has happened, and it had more red flags than my last relationship.
Oof.
The finishing order of the actual race was Verstappen in a crazy win, Russell, and then the big story, Carlos Sainz in third, rounding out that podium. And we'll talk more about that later. Following up was Antonelli Lawson in his best performance in that car, Tsunoda in his best Red Bull performance, not his best performance of all time. Norris, Hamilton, I lost my place. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Leclerc and Hadjar. That's the points. Was Antonelli Lawson, Tsunoda, Norris, Hamilton, Leclerc, Hadjar. Uh, Bortoletto, Behrman, Albon, Ocon, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Gasly, and Colapinto almost out in the points, and Oscar DNF'd. Piastri crashed in the first lap. We'll get to that as well. Good day, Red Bull and Carlos Sainz, and then bad day, McLaren, and once again, Ferrari rounding out um, our bad day award. Before we get into the race, there's a good amount to talk about. We have to start with qualifying because it was crazy. It was so chaotic, so eventful that, of course, the race would have to be a snooze fest by comparison. Like I said, there were 6 total red flags in order. Albon and Hulkenberg in Q1, and then Gasly slash Colapinto, I think, at the very end of Q1. Gasly caused the yellow flag, and then Colapinto crashed real bad. And then Albon also, Albon hit the wall, Hulkenberg hit the wall, all in different places. Then Behrman in Q2, he hit the, or did he have like a weird issue? I feel like he hit the wall. I don't remember.
He hit the wall because it was concrete, it knocked
Right,
his
right,
rear
right.
tire.
Leclerc crashed in turn 15. He has now crashed there 4 times in that exact same spot. And that was in Q3. And then Piastri also crashed in Q3. And then finally, after qualifying, Ocon got disqualified for an illegal rear wing, but he was allowed to race anyway. Qualifying was truly a mess. I was like, I had plans afterwards. I was like, all right, we're just gonna watch qualifying and then we'll go. And then we ended up having to watch qualifying, the end of qualifying in the car. It was very chaotic. It was so much happened. In Q3, it started to Sainz, the big story, sets this
Mm-hmm.
amazing time in Q3. Then Leclerc crashes, red flags, and then it starts to rain. So no one can set a good time. And that's when Piastri crashes. And then there's they sent McLaren sends Norris out first, which I think was smart. I think that was the right choice. And Norris sets a time that puts him on provisional pole. And then if there was another red flag, which given the rest of qualifying was likely, it would have been fine. But that's not what happened. What happened was Norris went first, and the track sped up, and everyone did better than him, and he ended up qualifying down in 7th. Um, and after Sainz reset the time, and Verstappen was the only one who could pass him. And then Lawson ended up qualifying in 3rd. So it was a pretty eventful qualifying. I don't think McLaren sending Norris out first was the wrong choice. It just again didn't work out for McLaren, which we've seen a couple times this year. But that one you can't know. And Verstappen waited until the end, and that ended up being the right choice. So, and it's important to note that if there was a red flag after Piastri's crash, there would not have been any other laps because there wasn't enough time. So, if Norris put his lap in and there was a crash, that would have been it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Piastri's crash put him down to 9th since Leclerc crashed first, so that puts him down in 10th. But Norris couldn't capitalize, and he qualified 7th. And then, like I said, he went out early, and it was just a poor timing and just a bad weekend for McLaren. Piastri down in 10th, jumps the start, Car goes into anti-stall. He drops all the way down to 20th, and then on the opening lap, trying to recover, he crashes the car. Norris then is given a great opportunity to, like, even though he's down low in 7th, he has a great opportunity if he wins or he gets on the podium that really cuts into Piastri's lead. Instead, Norris doesn't capitalize on this mistake either, and he finished 7th, netting him 6 points, which actually gave him less of an cut less into Piastri's lead than if he got first and Piastri got second. If he got first and Piastri got second, he would have gained 7 points on Piastri as opposed to just 6. McLaren struggled all race. Norris was like stuck behind people. He stuck behind Tsunoda at the end, especially in a DRS train, and he wasn't making any really aggressive moves to try and overtake Yuki. He probably could have, but he wasn't he wasn't going for it. And he passed Tsunoda at a point, and a couple other people. He was running up in 4th, I believe. But then McLaren had another slow pit stop, which we've seen of multiple times this year. I think this is Norris's 6th slow pit stop of the year, or maybe it's the team's 6th, or something like that. So they've had a lot of issues on slow pit stops, and that put him right back behind Tsunoda, who was in a DRS train with Lawson and Antonelli. So there was really nothing any of them could do. And when he ended up being stuck behind Tsunoda and not going for any moves, it was kind of the nail in the coffin. He was destined to finish where he started. Andrew texted me about this earlier. I think, look, McLaren's still going to win the constructors easily. Mathematically, I think it's nearly impossible for them not to. And they should take home the drivers, but it might last. I mean, it's gonna, because Norris is so close, it's gonna last to the end anyway. But the question now is, with Verstappen's win, can he win the drivers' championship? The answer to that question is mathematically yes. He has to win every single race. And Oscar has to get 3rd in all the races except for one where he can get 2nd. And then Max wins by 1 singular point.
But does that take, well, so, and maybe this is the kind of the where the math kind of shakes out. Hypothetically speaking, if Oscar were to DNF again or not get 2nd or 3rd, that would change the math, though, right? It's just saying that
yes,
Verstappen cannot be mathematically eliminated.
Right now, no. But in order for him to win with McLaren's current performance, that's what has to happen.
Right.
Obviously, Oscar could choke. And Lando could also choke. But it's going to take Max. I think no matter what, like, just realistically, not talking mathematically or anything, let's say McLaren does choke. I think no matter what, it still is going to take Max to win every single race. Like, he's still going to have to win every race. Even, like, just realistically, to even have a chance.
Yeah.
But, I mean, another disaster from McLaren would definitely get more people talking. There's a lot of Max copium right now, and I think that's a lot of just McLaren hate. Which is fair, in my opinion, and Nate's not here, so I could say this. I don't think they're a very likable team. I don't like Zach Brown at all. I don't like Andrea Stella. I like Piastri. I don't like Norris. And I don't think McLaren is handling their extremely dominant season. They're not handling it well at all. We shouldn't be having this conversation about Max being mathematically still in the championship. We shouldn't be having that, but we are.
One of the things I was hoping for with Baku was McLaren would finally, mathematically lock up the constructors, and maybe we'd get to see some actual racing between Norris and Piastri.
I don't think even if when they do lock up the constructors, I still think there's going to be papaya rules. Because the constructors isn't in danger, and it hasn't been in danger for a long time. But the Monza, swapping places and stuff like that. It's still, they just want, their happy family mentality is like ruining the entertainment value. And as a fan, I care about the entertainment value.
Fair.
And as a fan who kind of like works in media, like adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, even when they lock up the constructors, I expect Papyrus to come to play. Now, will the drivers start like eventually? Oscar Orlando is going to have to not listen. That's what it
Yeah,
takes to end Papyrus. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
we can hope.
We can hope. And we'll find out in Singapore. So yes, that was McLaren with another stinker of a weekend. Um, two bad weekends in a row for them. Monza was like performance-wise good, aside from Max dominating them, but the other drama with the pit stops and stuff. I mean, it's just been. It feels like the vibes are that they're going to choke it, even if they probably won't. But the vibes are there for sure. And Andrew had texted me earlier, asking if McLaren's going to succumb to the media pressure, and I said, "What I said, I think their issues right now aren't media related,
Yeah.
yeah, aren't social media related." So we'll see what happens. Singapore should be interesting to see how McLaren responds to two rough weekends in a row, two rough races in a row, I guess. But
My
no,
my
go.
stance on it is if Verstappen wins Singapore by a decent chunk, then I'll start to believe in the comeback.
Yeah, I think if Verstappen dominates Singapore and McLaren does bad, there is a reason for there are conversations are going to have to happen. You can't just be like, "Oh, we're still good." It's like John Harbaugh, who today said that the O line was good. What are you talking about? Lamar had 30 pressures. He didn't even take 30 pass attempts. How does that happen?
Well, the 7 sacks don't count as pass attempts, so
So that is, and then today was like the O line's fine, and I was like, "Is it?" I think it is.
you guys need some new coaches.
We need to
But
get rid of
that's
Zach Orr, but that's a different show.
yeah, different podcast.
That's a different show. That's your fantasy football show, which you're supposed to be making.
I'm sorry, I'm busy.
Oh man. Anyway, now that football season's here, we get football talk scattered in there. But moving on from McLaren, Red Bull. Both Red Bull drivers had a great weekend. Verstappen won and added a sixth Grand Slam to his total. For a reminder, that's qualify on pole, lead every lap, win, get fastest lap. Um, and he has six that ties him with Hamilton and puts him two behind the all-time leader, Jim Clark, who has eight. Jim Clark, if you don't know Jim Clark, seriously go look up what people like. Just Jim Clark is like the best to ever do it in terms of not just F1, but like all motor racing. The dude was racing
Mhm.
everything all the time at the same time. He'd go from F1 to rally to other shit to all. Like, he was just the best. um, and like just like mathematically, since we've been talking about mathematics, like statistically, Jim Clark is the best of all time. Um, and you can argue like F1 specifically, there's Lewis in my opinion, but and Michael Schumacher as well, but Jim Clark just like in terms of all motorsport, I mean truly a legend. Top Gear when they became the Grand Tour did a really good piece on him. I would recommend watching that. But yeah, so he has all time with 8, Verstappen 2 behind with 6, tied with Lewis. And Verstappen just controlled the race from the lead and never looked back. The only chance he had to not get the lead, because he had a really good start, so he was only pressured twice. Lap 1 and then when the safety car ended. But with the way the safety car works, it's super advantageous to be the lead car. And Tsunoda finally qualified well, and he kept 6th all race by defending Norris. And it was helpful because he had the DRS from Lawson. He was trying to attack Lawson, but really needed to focus more on Norris. And if you're in a DRS train, there's really not much you can do because there's only 2 real overtaking spots. And if you can defend into those, you're fine for the rest of the lap. And it's like turns 1 and 3. So if you defend early, you're fine. So Norris couldn't pass Tsunoda, who couldn't pass Lawson. And they had a little bit of a DRS train going there. But Yuki with a great performance, his best in Red Bull, not his best all time. His best all time was 4th in AlphaTauri. that was in Abu Dhabi 2021, and everyone had other things to talk about when it came to that race. In Mercedes, Russell was sick all weekend, but you wouldn't know it by his performance. He had a really strong second place, and Sainz qualified in the second. Russell got up to second. He overtook Sainz. He raced really well. There were some team orders to swap with Antonelli, which were a little weird at first, but then it was all negated by different offsetting strategies. McLaren comes home in second and fourth in one of their best performances of the year. They pass Ferrari in the constructors by 4 points. They have 290. Ferrari has 286. And that's really it. I mean, other than that, Mercedes had a pretty quiet race. So George Russell, congratulations, does everything, fighting sickness, gets second place. Their opponents they passed, Ferrari, did horrible. They had a horrible time. Leclerc crashed in turn 15 again. He's really strong here in qualifying normally, not this time. He started 10th. He finished 9th. Hamilton was slow all weekend. And when he eventually caught up to the Lawson Tsunoda Norris train, he couldn't do anything with it. And he couldn't keep up with Norris. So just a pretty rough weekend overall from Ferrari. And bad news. I don't know any updates, but earlier today, about a couple hours ago, Lewis Hamilton posted a story that said, "Please keep Roscoe, his bulldog, in your thoughts and prayers." And Roscoe looks very sick. Roscoe's very old, so it could be that time. Well, I hope not. I love Roscoe. We all love Roscoe. He got more screen time in the F1 movie than most of the drivers. So, we will. Hamilton's life is just getting worse and worse at Ferrari. And finally, well, not finally, but the moment everyone's been waiting for surely is Williams. Carlos Sainz gets his first podium for Williams under full racing conditions since Lance Stroll in Baku in 2017. Russell technically got second in Spa 2021, but there was not a single racing lap due to rain. So the first real podium goes to Sainz. He qualified really well. We talked about that. He raced really well. He had a unicorn on his helmet from a little girl who gave him the sticker, and it's his good luck charm. He definitely can't remove that anymore. He made the most of a weird qualifying. And yeah, Russell was behind, so Sainz's hope for second weren't that realistic because the Mercedes was much faster, but he earned that goddamn third. He really, a much deserved and much celebrated third. Amazing for the team. The team has over 100 points for the first time since 2016, I think it is.
Damn.
And Sainz gets a podium before Ferrari this year, which is really funny. So congratulations to Carlos Sainz. That was awesome. Go Williams. That is now our group chat photo. Hadjar has been replaced. And then when something else crazy happens, I'm sure we'll change it again as we that's the new thing we do now, I guess. Sainz, it's all about Sainz this weekend, and rightfully so. He did amazing. He looked so cheesed to be on that podium, and it was awesome. And I don't think anyone can disagree with that, unless you hate Williams for some reason, or you're French. You probably hate Carlos Sainz because he's Spanish. In the other Williams, Albon, he had a rough position because he crashed in qualifying early. He couldn't carve his way through the field in a way a McLaren or Mercedes or a Red Bull could in the same position. But he did decent enough, and overall it was definitely a good weekend for Williams and a much needed result from Sainz, who has not had the results this year that Albon has had. And I think we can all agree that Albon has been the stronger Williams driver this year, overall. But Sainz, really, really brought it back. And it shows why they got him. It shows why James Vowles pursued him so heavily. Another team that had a great result was VCarb. Both drivers in the top 10 again. They passed Aston in the standings. They now lead Aston by 10 points, 72-62. Hadjar left disappointed in 10th, but Lawson up there in 5th. Really great weekend for the team. Hard to be upset about it overall. And then here's a quick and dirty. Aston, Sauber, Haas, and Alpine did virtually nothing all race. Uh, Alonso jumped the start reacting to Piastri. He took the blame for that and moved on. Stroll didn't do anything. Albon did hit and spin out Colapinto at a point, but no safety car. Alpines were in dead last. Bordeaux and Behrman in 11th and 12th, but really didn't have a realistic shot for 10th. Ocon started dead last due to his qualifying disqualification. He had no chance. And Hulkenberg's quality crash also ruined his weekend. Whole lot of misery in the lower four teams this weekend. It was horrible for all of them. Poor Haas. Did you see the Haas news? The rumor?
No, I didn't.
Christian Horner.
No.
I passed this blight on to you.
No thanks.
I don't know how realistic it is, but that is
I thought he was going to Cadillac.
no. They already have a team principal.
Oh, wait, that's
No.
right.
The rumor was Alpine.
Oh,
The rumor was Alpine, and now the rumor's Haas.
Dave can have him.
Alpine deserves it. Let's be real. Alpine deserves him. Haas doesn't. I like Haas. I like Io. Is that how you pronounce it? Ao. Ayao. Ayao. Hamatsu.
Yeah.
I like him. He brought in that Toyota sponsor. Um, and they've been doing well. Like they're not horrible anymore. They have a lot of bad moments for real, but they got a big hole to climb out of, and I think they're doing a decent job at climbing out of it.
Yeah.
So even if this weekend wasn't theirs, and Dave's
They
not here.
deserve it.
Yeah, Dave's not here to lament about Alpine. So we gotta move. We don't get to talk about Alpine too much anymore. Except we'll still talk about them because it's fun to make fun of Alpine because they really are bad. But Colapinto's been decent ish.
When he pays attention to the road and not his teammate.
Yeah, spinning out so he crashes into the wall. That's true. Well, Colapinto did not have a great race here, but it's going to be interesting. I think Colapinto will be an interesting driver to watch for the rest of the year because he's racing for his job's on the line, and he's already been under a lot of criticism. So we will see. I doubt we'll know who's pairing with Pierre until the end of the season, mainly because I think Yuki is probably in that conversation. Um, and Red Bull notoriously does not handle their contracts till December. So that's Baku. Anything else you'd like to add?
Not focused on Baku. No, I don't think so.
Anything else you'd like to add in general for F101? We got time.
Um. So, Signs.
Mm-hmm.
His top end speed was there in this past weekend. Has that always been? Do you think that's always been there, and it's just been the bad luck and the mechanical failures, or do you think part of it is him still getting used to Williams in general, maybe also playing a factor?
I think it's probably both of those things, along with the car. As we know, certain cars do better in certain tracks, and certain drivers perform better on certain tracks. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for example, the biggest example I think is obviously Mercedes in Canada. Like they always do well there no matter what. No one expected the double podium from them in Canada this year, and they got it. So, um, it's a combination of a lot of things, and I think really what it is Sainz is really smart,
Yeah.
and he knew and he got lucky as well. Let's be honest, he got pretty lucky getting up there and timing with the rain and everything. But he's a really smart driver. He knows how to drive in the top positions. He knows how to win a race. And he is really fast, and he put it all together on a perfect weekend here. Um, and I think, he knew not to fight George too hard and just let him go
Mm-hmm.
because he could hold back Antonelli easier. So, um, I think it's a combination of a lot, but I think most what it is, I think it's more, well, it's hard to judge the car overall because we don't have a good comparison because Albin crashed and then got like he couldn't do anything when he's
Right.
stuck behind everybody else. Um, so I think mostly I think it's the car. But I think a lot of it is signs, and he happened to have it click this weekend, and we'll see. Next weekend in Singapore will tell us, was it a setup thing? Was it like that track specifically suited him in the car? We'll find out. So that's my
Gotcha.
my my signs take. I mean, he crushed it. No denying that. He crushed it.
Yeah.
Driver of the day, totally deserved. um,
I think next week is going to be for being the 18th week of the season.
mhm,
We're going to learn a lot about how the rest of the last
yeah.
of the races are going to shake out.
It's going to be interesting to see how people react to Baku. You're not going to want to miss
Mhm.
it. 8 a.m. on Sunday next week. Unfortunately, the Dublin game is this weekend, so you don't get to go right from F1 into football.
Damn.
So, um, you don't get the full day of sports, but that's okay. Um,
No, it's
the all right, fair enough. You're right. You're right. You know what? You're right. You're so right. The this week's certified Ferrari moment. I got this one goes out to all the fans who are expecting a crazy race after qualifying. We are the certified Ferrari moment this weekend because not a lot happened during the race. But also McLaren for another pit stop disaster. But mainly it's us. Mainly it's us. And we all need to look at ourselves in the mirror and realize that we are huffing the copium. And then pick the
fair.
podium. Loyalty pays off. Sam, not much to talk about here. Sam sticking with Mark and picking Russell in second made him this week's winner and putting him ahead of Nate in total points. So let's go to the points real quick. I'm in first still, even though I got 0 points. I am in first with 341. Sam is in second with 324. He had Russell correct. Nate is in third with 317. He had Verstappen in second, which was incorrect, but at least a right person. And then Andrew, you have 262. You got 8 points. You had Verstappen in third, and Piastri and Norris in first and second. Dave is 50 points. He didn't get a single one. Dave has 388 points maximum he can get now for the rest of the year, which means that if I get a perfect weekend, I can mathematically eliminate him from winning. Now, what a great first perfect weekend it would be.
That would be really good.
So that's the pick the podium. Andrew fall from grace a little bit after last
I,
year.
you know what? Maybe a little bit, but haven't had the perfect weekends this year so far. So, you know, one or two might hit, and I'm back in this.
I believe. I think it's not impossible. It's not over till it's over. So we will see. We will be back. A little bit of a short one this week. That's because not much happened during the race. It was at least in Monza there was a lot that happened in the race. Um, but that's okay. We'll be back next week, same time. Andrew won't be here. That one actually might be a solo show. That one might just be me, which is okay. Um, It'll be the Singapore preview. We will have all sorts of fun stuff to talk about. Um, and we got to prepare. Maybe we get a little preview of what the Singapore sprint next year is going to be like because I don't know why they're doing that. Downright diabolical, if you ask me. But it'll be Singapore. Singapore is, to be honest, not a great like. Usually, it's kind of like Monaco in that it's very hard to overtake. So qualifying means a lot, but it is really physically demanding on the drivers in ways that no other race is. So it's
Is
gonna
it more
be
like
a.
G-force?
It's just hot and humid.
Mm.
It's really brutal. We will. So it's a battle of attrition, and in a battle of attrition, I think we all know what driver will win. So we'll see. Red Bull has not been great in Singapore in the past, at least in this current regulation set. So we will be back next week to talk about Singapore. Andrew, thank you for being here.
Of course, happy to be here.
And if you're
Never let
watching
you run solo.
this, yes. And if you're watching this in the comments, I don't know. What should they put in the There's no weird Dave prediction, because there's no podium pick, so there's nothing to riff off of there. If you're here in the comments, let me know if you think Max Verstappen is gonna crawl back and win the drivers' championship. That's what I want to know. Are you on the Max Verstappen hype train? If you're here in the comments, so thank you for watching, and good night.